Imagine something positive about Donald Trump and the economic hostilities that have been aimed at Canada. Well, the Chamber of Commerce, they're leading an effort among chambers to advocate for the removal of trade barriers between provinces in this country.
There is an opportunity. There's low-hanging fruit within our own country, right? Removing, numbers vary, but some say that removing interprovincial trade barriers could actually increase our GDP by 4%.
I was reading that it amounts to the equivalent of a 21% tariff, which is almost what Trump is threatening us with.
Yes, indeed. So if you think about the impact, again, the numbers we see about the impact of that potential 25% tariff would be, right, it's about a 2.5 decrease of our GDP, whereas increasing our interprovincial trade could represent an increase of 4% of our GDP. So you see, yes, it would the best case scenario, it would more than make up for the expected loss or negative impact of that 25% tariff.
Right, so I'm having this conversation with you now because you and the other members of the National Chamber Network are advocating for the removal of these barriers. Yes. But is anybody listening to you?
They are, and what's great about this, we're very proud because this is a policy, or resolution that the Kelowna Chamber led within the Canadian network. So it originated here in Kelowna and found its way at basically the national level and is now actually being used to advocate the federal government. So the Canadian Chamber of Commerce is now using a policy made in Kelowna to advocate the federal government. So it's great. It's great for us. We're very proud because we work really hard at this, right? Advocacy and policy is one of the main pillars of the Kelowna Chamber offering and purpose. So we're very proud when we see this. This is a win. Of course, it doesn't mean that everything is settled, but for us, it's a big win because we're proud to be leading the chart, if you will, on that topic.
So, are you optimistic, given the ongoing pressures that are still being felt with who knows what's going to happen vis-a-vis the U.S., but now with this policy of the chambers nationwide on paper, do you sense there's movement possible on this topic?
Absolutely, because it increases our leverage collectively. Like when the Canadian Chamber goes to the federal government and says, hey, this policy, it's more than a suggestion, this recommendation that we're making, that you do a certain thing, in this case, work hard and faster at removing interprovincial trade barriers, it gives them a lot more credibility because they're represented by the entire Canadian business network, right? So it means basically that business owners from the Pacific to the Atlantic to the entire territory are behind this, are supportive of this. So governments listen more when they know that a policy or a recommendation is backed throughout the country.
Yeah. There's so many moving parts to it, though, right? You got provinces and territories that would all need to agree, unless there was some kind of, new federal legislation that would simply make these trade barriers illegal. I don't know. What do you envision?
Well, there's many ways to go about this because there are different kinds of barriers. They can be strictly bureaucratic. They can be regulations. They can be some are territorial, right, just because of the hardship, right? So those ones are a little bit harder.
There's no one easy quick fix for this.
No, it's protectionism. That provinces basically, right, they just want to make it harder for others to or for consumers, right, to import.
So to eliminate all of these barriers would take multiple measures to happen.
Absolutely, and it's not going to be easy, but if there's a time to tackle this now, it's now. It's now because of all that pressure and negative energy that we're getting from our most important trading partner south of the border.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.